And now I turn more towards the so-called eligibility check. What does it mean? Why is this needed? So basically what is checked is if the application is arrived on time, if the application is complete and conforms to the requirements, but as well as the partnership is basically counter-checked if the partners are eligible that are listed in the project. The check is going to be carried out by the Joint Secretariat, and the national contact points are contributing partly to this. And in the next slides, I will present you the different criteria. The first 9 criteria, if the proposal is not failing to meet these criteria, this could lead to the rejection of the whole project, while the last 3 criteria refer only to a specific partner. So if a certain partner is not managing to meet the criteria, then the affected partner is basically out of the proposal. The first criteria is if the application form in all its parts has been submitted within the set deadline. The deadline, at the moment, we cannot tell you exactly. It will be announced and set in the call announcement, hopefully sometime around May. And an important aspect is also that an application is considered valid only if at least the 2 parts of the application form, the PDF and the Excel-based application form, are part of the submitted package. The second criteria is that the application form in all its parts has been submitted in the official templates through the program website. So basically, as you might know, there are certain formats and templates for this application, and you shall fill in these, and you shall use these templates to prepare your application. Only electronic application and annexes are to be submitted, so we don't expect anything on paper, and it must be submitted through a specific link that will be provided on the program website. So as an application, for example, sent by an email to the JS will not be considered valid. And one more aspect is that only the first version of the application will be taken into consideration. And as I said, an application is valid if at least the 2 main parts, the PDF and the Excel file, is part of this. Then this is the package that is considered to be valid. The next criteria is if the application form in all its parts, including annexes, have been submitted in one single package. The application form consists of the 2 parts. These 2 would not need any signature, although at the very end of the PDF file there is room for signatures, but at that phase it is not expected to be signed. A partnership agreement is needed to be signed by each partner, and then one single scanned document is to be enclosed to the package. A declaration, so-called declaration of co-financing, is to be issued by each single financing partner, so those who are supposed to receive funding within the project. Each of them has to fill in and sign officially these documents, and the scanned version is to be annexed. There is also a so-called state aid declaration. Once again, it's for the financing partners, again, to be properly filled and signed officially. The Declaration of International Organizations I already referred to before. This, of course, applies only in case the partnership would involve some international organization. And the ASP declaration, of course, is to be signed only and filled in only by the associated strategic partners. Just shortly referring back to the partnership agreement, this is to be signed only by the financing partners. So the ASPs are not expected to sign the partnership agreement. Just some practical hints. These scanned and PDF files can have a quite huge size. So when scanning, try to avoid big high resolution of these. And it's important that once you have everything, then put into a single file. As I said, we expect submission in one single package. So what the different parts of the applications are about? The part A of the application form is basically the main application that all aspects of the project or the proposal is to be filled in. The part B is about the financial, the budget tables for the proposal. The partnership agreement is basically defining the legal aspects between the lead partner and the different partners in a single document, referring to the responsibilities, rights, and obligations. The declaration as co-financing is basically a sort of self-declaration by a financing partner stating its legal status, basically, the amount of own contribution, that 15% that is to be added to be provided from own resources, identifying from which source this own resource coming, be it a state or a public contribution or any other private, as well as some additional declarations that the entity is not under bankruptcy, accept obligations of the subsidy contract, which will be signed only by the lead partner, that it's ready to apply the principles of public procurement, and they make available the results of the project to the public, as well as avoiding the double financing, which has also been tackled or touched in the previous session. The state aid declaration is, in this, the financing partners are basically declaring that whether the partner is an undertaking, if the project activities have any sort of, are market-oriented, if these activities might affect trade between member states, and if the entity itself is the final beneficiary of the project. The Declaration of International Organizations, I already explained basically what these entities are expected to declare. And in the ASP declarations, the associated strategic partners are basically defining or explaining their role in the project, why they are part of this partnership and the project implementation, and the certain amount by which another financing partner is supporting or sponsoring their travel and accommodation costs. The application form must be filled and completed in English language. Another criteria is that the partnership composed by at least 3 financing partners from at least 3 participating countries, which at least one is located in a member state. This I explained before, so I'm not going into details. Another criteria is that the lead applicant is an eligible beneficiary. As I said, shall come from an ERDF country, and cannot be a private profit-oriented entity. Each project has to ensure that at least 3 joint cooperation levels are indicated. In the application form, there will be a kind of tick box where the 4 different type of joint cooperations levels are to be declared and briefly explained. This stems from an EU regulation, but basically transnational cooperation projects are normally compiling each of these. But of course, the specific aspect is expected also to be explained in the application form. The next criteria is that the proposal contributes to at least 2 program output indicators. About program output indicators you will hear later on in another presentation. Here what is important to understand is that one of these contributions has to be connected to the so-called documented learning interaction, which is a horizontal output indicator. And then, in addition to this, at least one more output contribution is necessary to some of the other type of program output indicators. The next criteria is the completeness of the partnership. Basically, what is checked here if the partnership agreement is signed by each financing partner. And then, as I said, here the ASPs are not expected. So the so far mentioned 9 criteria refer or has consequence if in case the proposal, the application is not able to fulfill these criteria, that the proposal is going to be rejected. As I said, there are additional 3 criteria which can affect certain partners if they don't meet the criteria. The first one is if the financed partners are eligible. Eligibility issues are partly I explained already, and more in detail, of course, you can read in the respective section of the applicant's manual. The completeness of the submitted documents, referring basically to those annexes and declarations that I presented before. So each of these are enclosed to the application, as well as properly filled in and officially signed by the respective financing partner. And the last criteria refers to the associated strategic partners. Again, that these documents are provided for each single ASP and properly signed, filled and signed. Concerning the application completeness, I mentioned that the application is valid, considered valid only if the 2 main parts of the application form are submitted. In case certain documents, certain annexes might miss from the submitted application, or certain parts of the documents or certain signatures might miss, then there is a period of 5 days to complete this, counted from the notification of the JS after this has been checked and the respective lead applicant is informed about these missing parts.